G'day trendsetters, John with Gravel Cyclist, coming to you from the 8th annual Heartbreaker Cycling Invitational in Gainesville, Florida. In a moment, I'm going to interview some of those people behind me making faces. Let's go. In front of me is the crew from Ocala. That's Anne. Hello, Anne.
Hi.
What do you have to say for yourself today?
Off the front, early and often.
She says that every year, people. That's her husband. That's Chris King. He's like the other Chris King.
Not that one.
Chris, anything to say for yourself?
Just gonna help Ann get off the front, you know.
Anne has a big possibility of smashing this ride wide open. This is Ryan Woodall. Now, it's not a race.
It's not a race at all.
But it's a ride, and it's a ride he's happened to finish first in a couple of times. Ryan, what's going to happen today, mate?
I'm going to try to help my friends go off the front early and often.
Okay.
See what happens after that.
Hey, Dirk, what sort of bike have you got there, mate?
Got a Proflex from '94. I had to get rid of the elastomers and
Okay.
some modifications.
Nice. Just turn us around for a second, will you? I want to see this jersey of yours. Well, you're a happy, smiley kind of guy.
Yeah, I wore this just for you, Jason.
Good on you. BJ,
Hey,
what's going to happen, mate?
I'm going to try and survive. I've been out of town for a week on business, so I haven't touched my bike in 6
All right,
days.
you have a good excuse. He's got
He's gonna be revenged today. I'm gonna drop his ass today.
He has excuses already. That's what I want to hear. Known as the Heartbreaker. Give yourselves a round of applause. So today it's a bike ride, not a race, but just keep it safe out there and watch out for your fellow cyclists. The 8th running of the Heartbreaker Cycling Invitational saw about 60 to 70 riders in attendance. A quick bit of history. I started the Heartbreaker as a homage to Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, as Tom himself was originally from Gainesville. This 60 to 70 mile ride begins as a social fun fest out of town and is ridden at a pleasant tempo to encourage socialising. Invariably, the ride turns into a race of sorts, and about 20 miles or 30 kilometres in, the speed restrictions are lifted and attendees can ride as fast as they desire. The course is a mixture of pavement, dirt, gravel, limerock, and extra special for this year's super dry conditions, several sandy spots to really challenge the riders. I switch the course around every year to provide a fresh experience for attendees. Despite being a neutral type pace, the speed isn't exactly slow at times, and one of the known sandy spots has already put these riders into difficulty. However, the group is nice enough to keep it mellow to allow everybody to regroup, because everybody wants to be together when the neutral pace is lifted. The TGB aka Top Gear Bike Squad of Ocala is here in force and will likely make things interesting for everybody in attendance really soon. The group has just had the neutral pace restrictions lifted, so you know what that means. Somebody has already lined out the front of the group, but Stephen at left is about to really up the ante. Just ahead is a known sandy spot which could cause some problems for the riders. And here we go, so pay close attention to the top of the screen. Chaos is breaking out. Riders with plenty of experience have been caught out by the speed, and in some cases caught behind less experienced riders flailing about the place. On the positive, this sandy spot does have a soft landing, and as you can see, this 30 to 50 meter long spot of sand completely blew apart the ride. At the head of affairs, the hammer is down. Those doing the hammering are a bit naughty, profiting from the mayhem and chaos behind them. One more thing to note, on this particular day, a record high temperature was set somewhere around 85 degrees Fahrenheit or 30 degrees Celsius. Hydration was another challenge facing riders, but all of them were free to stop at the convenience stores along the route if they chose, but most would not. The front group does a reshuffling of sorts on this rough bitumen road, likely saving themselves for one of the toughest parts of the course, Bellamy Road. The group makes the right hand turn onto Bellamy with the pedal to the floor, but soft conditions just around the corner could cause a few more problems.
Matt from Tampa, one of the few attendees on a mountain bike, lays down a crushing tempo through a sandy spot that leads towards the first incline of Bellamy Road. More chaos and broken hearts ensue. This is the view from Ryan Woodall's bike, who slays the pedals to blast across to Matt, who has been joined by another local stud muffin rider, Faf Jr. At the top of the first incline, these lads have snapped the cord. As the following drone sequences show, the rest of the group has been split to pieces. Bellamy is a hilly road lined with beautiful live oak trees and happens to be the first federal highway in Florida. Of interest is the battle between the two leading women, Amy from Gainesville and Danielle from Tallahassee. They've been marking each other at every opportunity. Even though it's not a race, the ladies and gents still want to be the first to cross the line at the Heartbreaker. Meanwhile, the leading trio are swapping turns and building a potentially unassailable lead. These lads are arguably some of the strongest riders in the state of Florida. In fact, Faf Jr. just won the opening round of amateur roadie road racing about 2 weeks after this video was filmed. Behind, you can see the effort and toil of the riders on Bellamy Road in the record-setting temperatures. The leaders are in full-on time trial mode sans aero bars. You'll have to pardon the shaky footage, as following the leaders and driving a manual transmission with a camera on a stick sans gimbal is a bit challenging. Further behind, riders have assembled into 3 or 4 distinct chase groups of note. If you are wondering, these beautiful roads are the home of the Gravel Cyclist crew. We are fortunate to have hundreds of miles of such roads at our disposal. A few roads have been paved, but I sincerely hope most of them stick around forever. In this scene, Clint skillfully avoids Jason of Tallahassee. This is yet another sandy spot that has challenged the riders. In one of these chase groups is K-Dog, the oldest dude at the ride, along with Clint, who has provided plenty of footage for this video and has his own very successful YouTube channel. Check out the link to Clint's channel in the video description below. The leaders are still hammering along, and Faf Jr. adopts his aero tuck to save a few watts. Further behind, one chase group discovers one of the final known sandy spots of the course, which sees riders taking to the grass. This group toils along, with Danielle sitting at third wheel. Despite the challenges of the course, everyone seems to be having a good time. This is chase group number 3 on the course. In the blue jersey is one of my best mates, Rob, aka Nature Boy, aka number 1 Prong. Ahead of them is chase group number 2, featuring Jaden and Charles, both of Ocala. Charles went off course earlier in the ride, which I suspect dashed his chances of making it across to the leaders. The 3 leaders continue to hammer away like clockwork. There is no way any of the chase groups will catch these lads now. Notice Ryan playing air guitar as he passes beneath my drone camera. The lads are now on the penultimate sector, the 3 Sisters. Meanwhile, another chase group gets a little off course and hoofs it over a railway crossing in the process of being rebuilt. The leaders experience a problem when Matt's rear derailleur implodes. Fortunately for Matt, yours truly was there to collect him. So now, the 2019 Heartbreaker comes down to 2 riders, Faf Jr. and Ryan Woodall. This two-up scenario has been seen in the past, but this edition will arguably be the best. This group of lads is pretty cracked and feeling the heat. The two leaders enter the final sector of dirty roads and likely start thinking about the coming sprint. The front camera perspective is that of Faf Jr. and the rear of Ryan Woodall. Meanwhile, the beer wagon awaits them at the finish line. Faf Jr. is perfectly situated to launch his sprint, which he does, to take first place at the 2019 Heartbreaker, even though it's not really a race. A little further behind, Jaden rolls across for third. The remaining groups are splintered by time. Some chose to sprint and some chose to amble across the line. K-Dog won the 60 plus age category, even though one doesn't exist for the ride. He was showered with glory by the cool winds of my drone following the ride. Riders enjoyed cold beer from the beer wagon, and I conducted a few interviews before everyone rolled as a group back into town. And if you're wondering, Amy of Gainesville was the first lady across the line, and well done to all of the women who attended the 2019 Heartbreaker.
Rob Robbins, mate, how was today for you?
Good, innocent, quality fun. Not really the kind of fun I'm used to, but I did enjoy it today.
Your poor wife. Yes, moving on, it was actually quite different to the conditions today. 3 weeks ago it was sublime.
Can I do this?
Of course you can. It's a free country, is what they say. Yeah, man, it was very tough today. Very different conditions. I have to tell you, I was actually pleased to be in the car for once.
I bet you were. I bet you were. I would have thought you would have had company, you know. And for a while I thought you did, and maybe they were just out of view. And then I saw there was nobody in the front seat.
I know what you're saying. Here's the carnage. K-Dog, you won 60 plus, even though it's a ride, and there's no 60 plus either, really.
You need my checking account number?
Well, here we have Matt, and he rode with me in the car for a while. Unfortunately, he had a broken derailleur and some broken dreams.
Yeah, heartbroken.
That's the name of the ride, the Heartbreaker. That's his fiancée right there. Say hi. She had a fun time, I think she did, maybe.
Way tougher than last year.
Later?
You lied to me. You lied to me. You said there was only a couple of sandy sections.
Well, there was a couple. That's like 2, but there's actually about 5. So, Todd, mate, how did it go today for you?
Felt pretty good, but the record heat was made it really tough. One of the toughest heartbreakers, honestly, because it's not supposed to be 85 degrees in February. Sand sections were full-blown sand, no doubt about it. If you were riding anything less than 40s, I don't know how you got through some of those things.
Okay, here's the winner. Well, it's not really a race, but it sort of is, of the Heartbreaker. And you had a trash tyre, man. What happened?
Well, my other tires are on a mountain bike that I was using for the 12 Hours of Santos, and then I was just throwing on some tires, and I found this on our bike rack, and I figured it's got good tread, why not? And then when we started heading out, I felt like my tire was bouncing up and down, and I looked down, and I got this giant freaking sidewall about to blow out, but that wasn't going to stop me from continuing on. And then I knew I just had to out sprint Ryan, which was a bit of a challenge, but I managed to do it today.
Cheers everybody, and thank you to these lads who contributed video or carried my cameras on their bikes. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the Gravel Cyclist YouTube channel, and don't forget to click the bell button to be notified of future videos as they are released to the channel. I'll see you in the next video.